Welcome to, what is this, the third episode of Ladies in Gaming and Design. Laura here is from New York, and she is a lady designer. Now, the cool thing about Laura is not only does she design the mechanics of the game, but she does all of her own artwork. It's hard and magical, and I'm really, really impressed about it. It's pretty awesome. So Laura and I met at PAX U in Philadelphia back in November, and I instantly liked her, and I was like, I'm going to be friends with her, because that's what I do. I don't give people an option. I'm like, you're my friend now. Hopefully you accepted it, Laura.
I mean, kind of my policy as well. I always just kind of like cold email people and be like, hi, let's meet. You're at a thing, I'm at a thing.
Like, you're there, I'm there, you're pretty chill, it looks like. I'm pretty chill. Friendship. That's how I roll. Okay, so Laura, where are you? I know where you're from, but so everyone in the world knows where you're from. Where are you from?
I'm from Long Island, New York, and so I do join a little game testing group every week, and I do this as a part-time side hobby thing. I make games, so it's really cool, and I'm doing my first convention as a vendor at a Long Island convention, the Long Island Tabletop Expo, so I'm super excited about that.
That's awesome. When is that?
It's in April, so
okay.
April 18th, and so there's going to be board games. I'm going to be selling my game in person versus at PAX where I was like, hey, let's grab a table and
right, which worked out for us because I had a great time. But
yeah,
wow, that's really cool. I'm so excited for you. That's awesome. That's really cool. So you will be promoting which game?
I'm going to be promoting Potions Please mostly, but I'm also a Gamecrafter sponsored creator. So
ooh, that's cool. How'd that happen?
I emailed them. The email, the contact to them always works. But yeah, they pay for your booth, and they give you a bunch of promotional things, and cards to give out, and gift cards.
That's awesome.
And so you get to promote your game with the Gamecrafter, and you also get to promote a bunch of other games that are coming out on the Gamecrafter.
That is really cool. Real quick, hi Dava, love you, boop boop. And Brian says that you are a multitasker, saving costs. So props. So Potions Please, that is your first game?
Yes.
Okay.
I designed it I did the first prototype within a month, and then I developed it from there to be sold by that same August. So it took a full year to get everything done for the art.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, oh, it took me 2 months. I was going to be like, what? Okay. So a year.
I had way too much faith in myself.
I would have been like, dude, props. Because it takes us a long time. Dava, you cannot love me more. It's impossible. So tell us a little bit about Potions Please.
Potions Please is a 2 to 4 player set collection game for ages 6+. So it's a family-friendly set collection game where you are witches. You each have a special power you can use once per game, and you are trying to gather ingredients to make potions. And the first person to get 1 potion of each color wins the game.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. So that is it's for up to 4 people, right? And it takes half an hour-ish?
Yeah, it takes around 15 to 30 minutes.
Yeah. So, no big deal. It's just a quick little fun game. I've actually gotten to play it, and I really, really enjoyed it. I like set collection games. I like doing those types of things, so I really dug it. And I liked your mechanics, how you play it. I loved how you came up with that. So when you were starting with that, were you going to game testing groups and having people play it, or were you just working on it with your boyfriend?
I was single at the time.
Sorry.
So yeah, I got married a month ago, a month before it. So I was like, I need something to fill all of my time with. And I was like, how would I make a game?
There you go. And I think it kind of worked out really well for you. So
yeah. So
yeah, there you go.
I was like, now I need something to fill up all my time. I came back from a convention after I made a deck builder
Okay.
Worst idea. Because I had like 400 cards. I was trying to do all the art for that. It was insanity. So I was like, let's
Wow.
take it back to basics and let's pick a classic game, which I picked Go Fish. And I was like, okay, let's add mechanics to it and make it a little bit more interesting and then come up with a final, like, first prototype within a month.
Like a cool, fun theme
Yeah.
and all that jazz. Yeah. Like, I like it. I love the whole little, like, witchy theme. I don't know if, unfortunately, Brian still hasn't gotten me a copy of your game, but if you could, like, show us some of the cards and some of your artwork and kind of talk about that, because you're the first designer I've spoken to that has also done their own artwork. So that, to me, is very, very awesome and very intriguing.
Yeah, so I love drawing, like, I was just drawing these, like, little sketchy potion items.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I started to just, like, do these in my sketchbook. I think I even have my sketchbook with me. So I have these.
It's like really hard to see. Can you get them a little closer without knocking stuff over? Like we had some difficulties earlier. Your friend, she was knocking stuff over, and it was all my fault. I felt terrible. Yeah, so like these really cool little potion bottles, which are solid.
And then
it's very impressive that you did all of that, dude. I just noticed your shirt. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, I made it with a Cricut machine.
I have a Cricut. It's the best, literally the best thing I've ever bought.
I love it.
Use it for everything.
But yeah, so there's ingredient cards, and then there's the witches.
Yeah. So I love the witches, and I love that they like definitely have their own unique personality when you look at them, and you can tell, which is really cool. Yeah. And pink is my favorite, so I love the one wearing the pink dress with the heart.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna make. So for the first convention I did when I finished the game was the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo, and I wore the purple witch's costume, so I had like a hat and like a full thing. But I think I'm gonna go as the pink witch for this one.
Yes, spice it up a little bit. So I had watched your video. So this is on the Gamecrafter. Ooh, Megan's here. Hi, Megan. Thanks for watching. So I'd watched your video on Gamecrafter about it, and I love it. It's really good. Good job. But I love that you were dressed up as a witch the whole time. It made me so happy.
Yeah.
I just thought it was cute.
The dressing up as a witch, someone asked me, like, what was the best purchase you've ever made to do game design? And I was like, this witch costume. Because, like, every single time I go anywhere, everyone's like, why are you dressed up? And they're like, oh, are you a character? I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm a character from, like, my game. And they're like, what's your game? I'm so confused and intrigued.
100% why I now have a giant glittery unicorn horn with a bunch of flowers that I'll be wearing at cons. Like, sometimes you just gotta have fun with it. Invest, man.
Yeah, you just gotta make yourself stand out. And I think that, like, really helped also with, like, a family-friendly game is that, like, I don't know many kids who are like, I'm gonna go playtest this game that's not done yet. Like,
I don't know any.
Yeah. And so, like, this 6-year-old...
That'd be pretty cool.
If someone's in a witch costume, though, they're like, oh, this is a game. This is a thing. This is...
Right? And, like, you are obviously a friendly witch, so they're going to be like, okay, I gotta go play with her.
Yeah.
Go play it.
So it turned out
to be
the investment was that, like, witch costume that I made.
I love it. Now, correct me if I'm remembering incorrectly, but your daytime job, like, your gig, is costume design, right?
Yeah, I design Halloween costumes.
How cool is that? You design Halloween costumes. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to totally go off on a tangent here. What was your favorite Halloween costume to design?
Oh my god. I got to do all of these, like, Star Wars, like, girls' dresses. Yes. They're, like, themed, they're, like, less costumey, but more, like, apparel. And it was, like, a tutu dress with R2-D2. So it was, like, little R2-D2 dots, and it was, like, a tiny little, like, infant-sized, but, like, with all R2-D2 stuff on it. And I was like, I love this so much.
That's awesome.
Like...
I love it. The next game that we're kicking off is a gnome game, and Brian, needs a gnome costume for Origins.
We
actually... Do you want to, like, let's make Brian into a gnome.
Yeah.
We should do that. That'd be really funny.
Little sneak preview.
Yeah.
This year they have, like, these 2 gnome costumes coming out for, like, yeah, they're for children, but they might sell them for adults. But they are the cutest little child gnome costumes. Like, if you find children and put them in the costumes.
Let's just, make them sit there at Origins. Don't move now. Just be a statue. It'll totally work out.
Yeah,
Just,
that's what one of my
solid.
friends is gonna do with his kids in Michigan. Like, he's gonna take them. He's like, no, they can pick up blocks off the ground. It'll work great. Like,
props to him.
Yeah, so they're gonna be doing a family vacation, family trip.
I like it. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
We don't have any pint-sized people in our lives, but if we did, I'm sure we would utilize their skill set of being closer to the ground to pick stuff up. It's a pretty good skill set to have.
Yeah.
Oh, Rich Francis said, "Hey, all. Hi, Rich. Where do you draw inspiration from when designing games?" That's a solid question. Tell us the answer, Laura.
So I try to design games that I would most likely like to play and that fit my aesthetic and stuff like that. But what I like is I kind of imagine what the table will look like. So I imagine this sort of cute game with like potions and things like that. And then I was just trying to figure out how to make those mechanics tight and smaller. And it was a more complex game at the last PAX U, actually. I brought my like original prototype there and I spoke to my friend and he's like, this game is really cute. Why are you adding all these extra things in it? Like, tone it down and make it, like, tighter. So I think it was really cool to take a game mechanic that you wanted to explore and put it with a theme. Basically, theme runs everything for me. If I don't like the theme, I'm not doing it.
Same. I'm like, I don't dig this theme. I'm not buying it. But also, like, packaging gets me. So if your packaging is, like, solidly in line with your theme, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm so sad. With the Gamecrafter, I really liked my box, but my original prototype, the one that I brought to PAX U, was this spell book, and I wanted a spell book so badly. Like, this was my original baby.
Oh, that's such a cool idea.
I loved it so much.
Oh, a spell book? That would have been cool.
So if I ever really these potions plays, like, in the Kickstarter or something like that with the expansion, I would want to get, like, a big spell book. Would like
do it. Is that in the works for you? Is there going to be an expansion?
I want to do a 5 and 6 player expansion, and I want to add familiars. So
yes,
a animal companion that also gives you some sort of like ability that you can work with during the game.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Will there be a unicorn? There should be a unicorn.
I mean, actually, wait, I have a unicorn actually in here.
Yes!
The pink witch turned into a unicorn in my original. This is also the really old art from my.
I feel like this is just speaking to my soul right now. On so many levels. I'm like, this is great. This is great. I love it. Brian says that my inspiration comes from some very interesting conversations with myself. Why you gotta put me on blast like that, Brian? And it's so true. So true. Oh, I love it. That'd be so cool. You could have obviously I'm sure you'll probably have like a kitty cat for one of the familiars, but then like you could do like other like really random cool stuff. And like, are you like design wise, will they kind of go in line with like the witch that they go with? So like you have the one that like has the blue and she has like an orb, so she's more of like a seer type situation. Would you do something that kind of like flowed with that?
I definitely think that would be really cool to do, where it works with like it basically adds to their power, because I think some of the witches are a little unbalanced in the first game and help balance them out, but also give them something cool that they could do extra.
Yeah.
So I really think it could help and add to the game in that way, and then also allow for like new witches to have new characters and stuff like that.
I love it.
But
that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Brian, you weren't listening. She plans to do an She's thinking about doing an expansion on Kickstarter, and the box will be a spell book. Jeez, Brian. Listen.
But yeah,
I love you.
Or someone said that was like a secondary goal instead of just collecting potions. Like your familiar is like a secondary goal you can do. An objective. So I think that could be really cool and add depth to the game, but not make it too like keep the same mechanics. Yeah,
I really dig it. I think that sounds really, really cool. I dig that. That's a good idea. I hope that you venture down that alley and kind of think about that one because that sounds really good. It's really cool.
Yeah, I really love that like whole vibe. It's just
right. It's really cool.
Stay in the Potions Please world almost. Like I really just love the like kind of world building I did with it, which is weird for a game because like game themes are always so disconnected from the game. I think like a lot of times like
I agree. Sometimes it's just I'm like, did you not think about how they go together? Okay. It's
like
fine.
I went to a publisher, like they said they were like, okay, but we have to retheme it, and I was like, okay, but do I have to?
And you're like, I'm kind of really digging the theme.
Yeah.
Do I have to redo it? No. Well, I'm happy that you didn't go with a publisher and decided to do it yourself because I like the theme and I love your artwork that you did.
Yeah, that's.
So I'm happy that you were like, thank you, but no, thank you.
Yeah, it's cool because like I feel like with a publisher, they always also like they change your art as well, which I think is something. Like everyone told me to not invest in the art in a game because if you're selling it to a publisher, they're going to hire an artist for it. But I don't know if that's true with every publisher, but
Brian and I recently started publishing other people's games. And yes, we do hire an artist, but also the games that we've signed like have no art. Like there's nothing on them, so we kind of have to. Yeah, Brian says publishers are not so bad. I know, Brian. We're publishers. We're not bad. I'll get it. So yeah,
definitely so much better to go with a publisher if you have someone to help you with everything. It's so difficult to be like, I have to do social media and all these other things and fulfillment and all this stuff.
Right? It's a lot. It's a lot. Carly says, hi. It's awesome you are working on an expansion for Potions, Please. Any other games on the horizon?
So I was thinking of, I'm continuing work on Roller Wreckage. It's kind of hitting a wall because I have to I don't do many racing games, and so I really have to start and researching the genre of game.
Okay.
And because I really like games. I really sort of more fun tile placement games and set collection games. So I'm doing something with combat and racing and all these more complex mechanics. I think I have to really study up on it, but I really want to continue that. But also, I want to make a game, a sort of entry level beginner sort of risk style strategy game, but about called Show No Mercy. And
I saw that on your website, and I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, so I want to do something with you are Little Mermaid clans, and you're trying to control areas in the board, and you're building your little engine. But I have to figure that one out. I think I'm gonna have a prototype though of that for April. So
you had me at Mermaid Clans. I was like, done. In.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing where I'm if I can really enjoy making I want to make these powers and these characters and jellyfish mermaids, octopus mermaids. Let's go.
I am so in. This sounds awesome. That sounds really cool.
And hopefully that one will be done by the time Little Mermaid comes out. Get all that mermaid vibe.
All the mermaids. All the mermaids. What's gonna be your next thing coming out?
So I think it's either gonna be Show No Mercy or Roller Wreckage, but it's probably not gonna happen for another year or two because they're in the very basic prototype stages. But probably within a year, I can make an expansion for Potions Please and re-release it. If I sell out all my copies, I think I'm gonna maybe go back and try and repackage some things, maybe fix some things, and then do an expansion. And also, I did a book for the first Potions Please.
A book?
Yeah, so I maybe expand on that and adding into that. So I did a little activity book with character descriptions. And
where can I buy this?
It's available on Blurb if you look up the Potions Please activity book.
I'm totally going to Blurb right now.
Yeah, but yeah, there's coloring book pages, a fortune teller you can cut out, and then the back area is all paper dolls that you can cut out.
Oh my gosh, that's so much fun. I love that you put in like with both feet into this, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's yeah, it was like I really when I also but also making this was pretty easy because I have so much art from like working on the game that it
Yeah.
was a really cool companion piece and it makes for a fun thing to sell. And then I also sell pins, which I totally wanted to give you pins at PAX U, but also I didn't prepare at all and bring anything with me.
That's all right. Did I give you any of my pins?
You did. I still
Okay,
have,
good.
but yeah. So I did also.
I'm like one day I'll be cool and I'll have like enamel pins.
Oh yeah, I really want to know, but they're so expensive.
That exactly. So I'm like, I'm not gonna do it right now. I'm not that cool.
Yeah.
Like I'm barely cool. I'm just kind of like, she's eccentric. Okay,
I also think
quirky.
figuring out. I have a question for you though, because you and Brian were talking about being game reviewers and like
Yeah.
so like as game reviewers, they were talking about like what type of like how good should if they're sending like a prototype. You guys want the best prototype you possibly can, right? So that way you can take pictures and all that.
Yes. So, generally when we are doing a review, it's like either the one that like just before you kick off on Kickstarter or like the one right before that. So mechanics of the game are done. Artwork is like 95% done when it comes to us because we'll take, pictures and videos and like we play with them and all that jazz. So generally speaking, they're closer to that done point if not completely done.
Yeah, because I sent out like a couple copies, and it was very expensive to send it out through Gamecrafter. But I was like, the pictures everyone took was amazing. Like all the reviewers were like photographers basically on these things. Like they had better
Brian's
shots.
a photographer and he takes the pictures for us and he does a great job. Like I think most people who are doing it do some sort of photography skills so they can do that.
Yeah, it was really
Pretty
cool,
awesome.
and I was like, this is awesome. But like, it was so interesting finding reviewers and doing all that whole process of like, I didn't know there was this huge community out
I had no idea until Brian really started digging in like 2 years ago. And I was like, oh. So like, and it's weird because it's a big community, but in like the grand scheme of things, it's not. And it's also like everybody knows everybody.
there. Yeah, like I
So
found
like,
you
yeah.
through Zach. Like I saw that you reviewed his game, and then
Yep.
I joined you. Like I looked at that, and I wanted to send you a copy to review, but I had found your channel. I found your channel and your page, and like October, first week of October, and I'm like, that's not getting to her before, and she's not gonna get to review that before the crowd sale launches. That's not enough time for her.
No.
Yeah,
No, probably not.
yeah. So
Sorry, man. I would have loved to. Keep it
yeah,
in mind for the next one, but yeah, it just
yes,
definitely didn't work
that's
out.
a weird thing to do. Like, hey, it's a week out. You'd probably be like,
I'd
no.
be like, I mean, okay. It may not be the best quality, but okay. And I'd be like, oh, my cat's probably going to make an appearance. Like, I don't know. Brian has a question for you. He said, or asked, how do you decide what to work on? I can barely handle development, let alone design and do the art. Which, like, legitimately, I yell at him because he's working on like 5 games at once. So how do you decide what takes? I'm adding on to his question. How do you decide what to work on, but how do you decide what takes priority?
That's really difficult because right now I'm in school and I'm working full time, and so it's
I
just
didn't know you were in school too.
yeah, I'm doing a master's program. So
What are you getting your master's in?
art education. So I'm gonna be an art teacher.
Cool.
Actually, it was like
What?
games,
That's
but I
cool.
have these
That's
child
really cool.
characters, which is so helpful.
I like it. That's cool. Okay, sorry. Continue.
But yeah, I kind of give myself like spurts of energy to do things. Like I give myself a month to handle this one task. About like I kind of just give myself completely over to like potions please for the month of September, and just focus on trying to get that from like mechanically sound by the end of that month. So that way you can just focus on that one aspect, and then the next month do okay. Now you're just going to focus on all the art for that one game. Now when you have multiple games working on it, I think it's a little bit more difficult to focus on it like that, but it's kind of good if you're designing different types of games. So like a strategy game versus a like tile laying game, they're just working two different areas of your mind. So
Mm-hmm.
having that like space where like I don't have to do like for like an engine building game, like you have to really understand the logistics behind the game before you can even start designing it, versus if you're doing more of like a wacky social deduction game, you can just kind of like play with it and see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like having two games and one's kind of heavier, one's kind of lighter, and that way you can kind of like not get too bored, or when you get frustrated with the heavy one, you can like switch over to the light game.
That's pretty solid.
You can always like switch, and I always have also like a mini project of like art that isn't super like, it's not needed for a deadline, but like maybe some concept art. So, and that's some more free form. So like when your brain's completely fried, you can just color. Like,
I like that idea. Just like, color away. I
yeah.
like that. That's cool. Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. I know I had other questions for you, but now I can't remember them because we just, kind of jumped around, which is what I do. I'm kind of spacey. It's fine. I remember what it was. I was curious, why did you decide on Gamecrafters to launch Potions Please versus doing a Kickstarter?
So I chose the Gamecrafter because I'm actually doing a video that I'm going to put on my YouTube channel, my first ever video on my YouTube channel, about the pros and cons of using the Gamecrafter for crowdfunding.
Okay.
And there were a lot of pros to it. There was a lot of cons as well, though, but it's very low risk, low reward.
Okay.
So I had never designed a game before, and I had never handled shipping or fulfillment or marketing or doing the art. Like, I'd never done any of these tasks before.
Mm-hmm.
So to have, like, a company that was like, okay, whatever you sell, you're not going to lose money on this. Like, if you sell one game, you sold one game, and you know.
Yeah. That's cool. Like, you made some money. You sold a game.
Yeah, you sold a game. But if you sell, like, 100 games, that's also great. You make more money. It's not like you didn't reach your fulfillment, and now you have 500 copies. Or you didn't reach your fulfillment so that way it couldn't get made. At the end of the day, you were always going to have a game made, which I thought was the most important for me, because I don't know, especially with, like, Kickstarter, you really need, like, a following to get.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many people, like, just be like, this is the first game that anyone's ever made, and they only have, like, 50 people that follow them. Do you want to buy from them? And they're like, there's so much competition that you have to fight through. But the Gamecrafter has its own like little niche community that will buy from each other. So it kind of like is a niche within the niche.
I like it. Yeah, we had never considered Gamecrafter for launching a game. And you're like the first person I think that I've met that had. So it's just very intriguing to me because it's just, like, let's be real. I didn't know that you could do this until I met you last November. Like, I didn't know it was a thing. I was like, oh, I learned something new.
Yeah, I just like, my friend told me about it, and I'm just going to fix my camera and plug in my phone because...
No worries.
That's better.
Yeah. You all can see how lovely she is. There we go. They can really tell now. I love it. So, your next games, Roller Wreckage and I forgot the name of the other one.
Show No Mercy.
Yes, thank you. Show No Mercy. Are you planning to go to Kickstarter with those or Gamecrafter?
I probably am going to go to Kickstarter with both of those just because they're a lot more component heavy. Like card games, I think work really well for the Gamecrafter. Like, I think that's a right price point, and it works really well for that, but I kind of want minis of the mermaids. Or at least, like, some, like, more custom components.
Yes. Oh my gosh, what if you got, like, fun little mermaid meeples?
Yeah.
I'd be so excited.
Yeah, I want something like that, and I want more, like, custom components, which Gamecraft can do, but it's really expensive. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure it would be very expensive to have like them make some pieces for you. Yeah. So one of the questions I was going to ask you that Brian reminded me of, what is it like being a female in the gaming industry?
That's an interesting question because I haven't met many other woman game designers.
Yeah, that's because there's not a lot.
Yeah, like I met
Like compared to like the grand scheme of the community, it's still mostly a male-dominated industry. So like, you haven't met a lot of us. It's fine.
It's also like really kind of like weird. So me and Zach always joke about how we first met because I joined a Facebook group for game designers, which is like 50 dudes. Like I'm like the only woman in the game designer group. But like they always had ones in New York City, and I was like, oh, is there any on Long Island? He's like, oh yeah, we do one on Long Island. And then he like privately messaged me and was like, hey, we meet up at this bar. And I was like, okay, this is kind of like sketchy because it's not part of like the main group. And so I got there and I just see him stand up in the corner and I don't see anyone else around him. Like, oh no, I walked into like the worst thing. And then I walk around and everyone's sitting at the table with games. And I'm like, oh, this isn't actually bad. But
and Zach's the nicest guy ever, but that is the creepiest way to be like, oh, I meet at a bar, and then just prolonged eye contact.
Yeah, because like I was like looking around, it was like I love that bar so much, but it's also like the most like old man bar, and I was like, what is this? Where am I? Why am I here? And I didn't know.
Was that your first time going there?
Yeah.
That's even better.
And so I was just so worried, but every time I met them, it was just, they were all amazing, and they've all been supportive and so, like, fantastic and really helpful. So, like, it's basically like, I go into a thing and I'm like, this is a scary situation. I'm like, wow, my expectation was subverted. So,
yeah,
good.
Like, there you go. Like, this is solid.
Yeah.
Something that I've really noticed about the gaming community, doesn't matter who you are or what walk of life you come from, everyone is so nice and supportive. It's amazing to me. Like, everybody.
Like, I was, like, having a panic attack during, like, a publisher meeting. Like, it was, like, a 60-second pitch, and I was having a panic attack during it. Like, I was so nervous.
No, I'm so sorry.
And, like, every single one of the publishers was like, no, it's fine. Like, it's fine. Like, take a breath. Let's start over. Like, come on, let's walk over here. Like, they were all amazing. And, like, they were fantastic about everything. And, like, they gave me lots of advice. So I feel like everyone in the industry is pretty open. And if you're a jerk in the industry, you don't get very far.
No, and everybody knows. And everyone will point it out. Which is highly entertaining. Super entertaining. I'm like, you did something. Nobody like you.
Yeah. It's like a very, like, it's a small, tight-knit community, which can be helpful or it can be hard. But I want to meet more women game designers, especially in my area.
Yes.
I haven't.
You know what you should do at the one in April? Where was that? Long Island, New Jersey, whatever it was?
Yeah.
You should try and do one of, like, the lady meetups. They had one at PAX. It was early in the morning, and I was like, no, I'm not coming up for bagels. But you could try and do something like that, and then you could meet more ladies. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's like, and that's why, like, that's how I came up and talked to you, because you were like, I want to meet lady designers, and I was like, hi, I'm a woman. Like,
yeah, like, legitimately, I just like, where are the lady designers? Be my friend. Like, it's pretty much how I roll.
So, like, I feel like that would be really cool, having, like, a meetup with that.
Yeah.
I feel like I've always had a really good experience with most of the people I've met, but it's also, like, terrifying to be, like, all these 40-year-old dads, like, walking up, like, when I first was there, was, like, 22, like, walking up to an area, being like, this is awkward. Like,
right? You're like, I don't know how this is gonna go down. Like, let's see. And then it turns out okay. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. So
Metatopia is a really good place for that sort of thing too.
You said Metatopia was?
Yeah. There's a lot of good there. So
there you go. Yeah. So like I had been to Origins twice previously going to PAX, but not like in the same like kind of way. Like PAX was like the first time where it was like we were there as publishers and I was doing videos and I was like purposely meeting people, not just like going around to like play games and go to the end pub room. So it was just different. And I remember being like so scared to talk to some people. And then it's like, why am I scared? It's fine.
Yeah.
Like no one cares.
I think that was a really interesting thing with the first time I went to PAX versus like the second time and the third time. Like one of my friends just sets up his table in like the play area and just is like, hey, come play a game. Like I have a game right here. You want to play it right now? And it's like everyone's like, I don't know who you are. And then he's like, yeah, we're just gonna play test it right now. And like they'll like come down and sit. And he just did that for like 10 hours a day. And I'm like, wow, this is like all these like, and people are pretty open to it, and people are like pretty nice and like about it, and they're all there to play games and have fun. So it's not
right. What I love is like if you're walking by and you see like a game that looks really cool that you want to check out, if you just like you can stop and everyone will just turn around and look at you and be like, "Hey, so this is what we're doing. You want to join?" Like it's awesome. It's so friendly and welcoming. Like it is hard to go to a gaming convention and feel unwelcomed or left out. Like
yeah,
it's hard to feel that way.
I have a fun PAX U story from the first time we went to PAX, whereas we were all waiting online to play D&D to join one of those groups, and then they were like, we're filled up, there's no more there. And then someone walked around, he's like, why do we need them?
Yeah.
Let's play Dungeons & Dragons, like, right here, right now. And then he was like, and we're like, yes, we can. And we didn't know this guy. And he's like, I'll be your DM. Meet me here in an hour. I'll try to get us a table, and let's do this. And I was like, I don't know who you are, but okay.
Like, I love it. Just so willing and open. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, like, he's like, you guys have character sheets? And I'm like, I have some character sheets on my computer from, like, a convention I did. And he's like, yeah, grab them. So we went to the, like, FedEx office inside PAX U.
Yeah.
And printed out character sheets. We didn't have minis, so we were using, like, pennies. Like, we had...
You made it work.
At the Chessex area. It was... And then we all just met down there, like, in an hour, and we played a game for, like, 3 hours, and it was amazing. And then we met up with him again last year, too. And
That's awesome.
We did another, like, one with him, and he's such an amazing DM. And I'm like, I would have never known you or talked to you, but I'm like, okay, let's talk, let's do this. Like,
right? What's his name?
His name's Miguel. I'm friends with him on Instagram. I'll link him, because he does also 3D sculpting. He does CAD work for 3D miniature. So cool. He brought a Falcor miniature, and he had us all ride off on a Falcor.
That's awesome.
Never-ending story.
Brian just called me out yet again. So we just got back from a gaming cruise, which was really cool about, and we'll be doing some stuff talking about that later on down the road. But they had 2 DMs there. So Jason and Travis, and they were awesome. And because I've never played, they were like, Carrie, you got to play this. You got to play this. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. You would think, given like my theater background and like how outgoing I am, that I would be like, yeah, it's the best thing ever. And I was like, it was not for me. I spaced out hard, and we played 3 separate times, and I feel bad because the guys were awesome and they did great, and I enjoyed listening to like their story. But then they were like, Kara, what are you gonna do? And I'm like, I'm gonna stab. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I was like that when I first started playing D&D, and then I eventually like became very attached to my character. I have like a comic about that one too. And, like, we just played for 3 years straight of us. And, like, I just loved it so much. But it definitely is, the mechanic system is sort of, like, it's also so long. It takes, like, 4 hours to play D&D.
Yeah.
Big barrier.
Yeah.
To be, like, paying attention for 4 hours, that I can't do that. So, what
I have shiny disorder. You got, like, half an hour before I'm like, okay, bye!
Yeah, so usually what I end up doing is bringing a sketchbook with me and, like, sketching out what the adventures are. And that's how I, like, made the comic, was I was just like, oh, we're doing this thing, let me just sketch it, because, like, I have to wait, like, 20 minutes.
That's cool.
And, like, I'm gonna, like, lose contact otherwise, like.
Right? I noticed, so the 3 times I played, Jason was the DM and Travis was playing with us, and he was sitting next to me, so I noticed that as they were, like, going through, he was, like, writing down what happened, and was, like, kind of making like a timeline or a plot of it, and I was like, oh, so that's pretty cool. And I was wondering if he was going to use that for like something down the road, but maybe that's just how he stays engaged in the game. Yeah, I don't know.
Finding a thing that helps you stay engaged in the game, and like for me, it's pictures because I hate. But like for other people, like it's being funny. Like
yeah,
I love like there's the people who like are like waiting for the perfect time for a joke to come in there, but like
We definitely had like some of those on the trip, which I enjoyed listening to them. I enjoyed listening to like people who got super into it and like had voices or whatever. So Travis's guy's name was Grunt, and he had like a German accent, and that was awesome. And then another fella, I only heard him play once, and his character was like a Jewish Brooklyn grandma. It was awesome. And then here I am, and they were like, "What's your name?" And I was like, no name. She doesn't have one. She doesn't talk. She was abandoned as a child.
It's always the like really depressing backstories for all like the D&D characters.
I know, like, right?
Character.
You know what? Next time I play D&D, I'm gonna come up with like a really, really happy backstory. Like my character, her name is Penelope, and she grew up with garden gnomes and trolls, and she spent her days skipping through the meadow picking flowers, and her best friend is a butterfly.
That was like my barbarian character, like that I did. Like everyone else was like, I see like the apocalypse, or my family was killed, or I'm a princess and I like have to get away from my like evil family, or like I was taken captured, and I'm just like, so I'm from the north, like, you know, it's pretty boring though being from a rural area, so like this is cool, I'm really into it, I have like 5 brothers, they're all annoying, I mean some are great, and it's just like building these characters of like, this is my brother Dave, this is my brother Hans, this is like, I'm just like going into like family, like yeah, I remember doing that, like I chased a bear once, that was great, and so it was very like happy backstory of like, I just, you know, grew up in a rural area. It's fine.
That's funny. I dig it. I like that. Okay. I guess I have to give D&D another go. And maybe I will get more engaged with it over time. So, at Origins this last summer, I forgot what they called it, but it was like live action D&D, where like you have your group and you're going through like the different rooms, and they had people in the rooms. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like LARP?
Brian, what's that called? True Dungeon? Oh, Brian says yes, True Dungeon. So I played True Dungeon. So I guess it's kind of like LARPing, except for I didn't dress up. But like that for me was really super fun. So maybe I just need to be like more physically animated.
Yeah.
To like get into it.
I feel like an escape room would work really well for that. Like if you're all playing characters in an escape room.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like what it was. Like, I can't believe you even play True Dungeon. Like, the next time I see you at a convention, if they have True Dungeon, you and I, we're playing, we're gone.
I totally love that.
Yeah, and so, like, you have, like, your character sheet, and they, you know, you have all this stuff, and it's a big deal. People had, like, tons of coins, and these coins give you, like, different abilities and all this stuff. So, luckily, we had someone in our group who had played before quite a bit, so he was able to help all of us out. And then it was, like, a maze, like, only one way to go in and out of these rooms, but it takes, like, an hour and a half to play. And I think I was, like... I was the bard. So, like, of course, musical theater came out every time they needed help. I would just, like, start singing some Rodgers and Hammerstein. It was great. Yeah, so I think, like, for me, it was more of, like, the hands-on portion of that I really dug. So then when we went to playing it at a table, I was like, okay. Just looking around. I was like, this is not for me.
Yeah, like, it has to be sort of active. I used to do a D&D game at conventions where it was like a beginner 2-hour session where it's like a beginner thing where everyone just grabs a character sheet, and that was really fun because you had all these people who hadn't played D&D before, and
that's
like,
where I need to go.
Yeah, like it was a basic like how to play D&D. So I had like a guy with his girlfriend who'd never played D&D before, and she just like is trying things out, and she's having a lot of fun. And then I had a 9-year-old play it, and she was amazing, and she was in like she was in a full cat costume.
Already my hero.
And she was like, I want to be the druid. And I was like, okay. I'm like, you're 9. Like, how can you? And she was like, she got it. And she had a lot of fun playing it. And then, oh my god, there was a 6-year-old boy who played too. And he was the cutest.
So cute.
He played a barbarian, and he had his dad play a cleric. And he kept being like, Dad! And he's like, I'm not your dad. I'm a cleric. I'm a woman cleric. And he's like, I don't know why I keep calling you Dad, but Dad, I need help. Like, and also it was... like, it just allows for so much fun improv that I think, like, having a more free-form, like, tight session can help, like, be like, we're just gonna go through and try some things.
Right? Like, they were pretty free on the cruise, and they were trying to help, because, like, I think there were like 2 of us who hadn't played before, and then everyone else has. So they're just kind of like trying to help us get into it. So maybe it was like the fact that I was on a cruise in the Caribbean and I wanted to be outside probably didn't help.
Yeah, on sunny days, I'm always like, I don't want to be inside here. Let's go outside.
Yeah. Maybe if I could have convinced them to move it to the deck, I would have been more into it. I don't know.
Was it Joko or
what?
Was it
No, we were on a cruise this last week where I played at.
Like, was it the Joko cruise? Because I know that's a gaming cruise.
Oh, no, we were on B3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we're going next year. You should come.
I really want to go. We've been trying.
Oh my gosh. They're so much fun. Do it. It's so much fun. This is our 2nd year going. We're going again next year. It'll be our 3rd year, and so much fun. And I love it because like we've made friends with people that we see once a year, which is really cool. So I really dig that. So one last question for you before we wrap it all up. Do you have any advice for someone going into the gaming community, like just starting out?
I think my biggest piece of advice is just being really open and being really like open to information and open to critique and just being really friendly to everyone. Like someone's going to play test your game and they may not like it or they may not react the way you want them to, and you have to react with like friendliness, and you have to like be able to take that and like compartmentalize it, and that not everyone be the way you want them to respond, but those people are not doing it to be mean. And
they're there to help.
Yeah, and I think everyone who is making a game knows how hard it is to make a game, so if anyone's being like a huge jerk for you, like the community will back you up and be like dude, like...
Yes, which is awesome.
Yeah, so I think just being friendly and open. Also Facebook. I found so many people on Facebook in the Board Game Design Lab community.
Yes.
So much.
And you're in Board Game Broads, aren't you? Board Game Broads?
No.
Oh, join it. It's awesome. So many lady designers for you to talk to, and they're all really awesome and opening and welcoming and all that jazz. Cool. So definitely check that out.
Like Facebook is like the community for like Facebook's the platform for game designers.
100%.
I don't know why that became it, but it is. Like,
well, and I'm okay with that because that's what I primarily use.
Yeah.
So it works for me. I get it. So before we wrap up, anything you want to plug?
I guess I will plug my game is available on the Gamecrafter. You can check out my website at www.ledesigninggames.com. I'm going to be at the Long Island Tabletop Gaming Expo in April, and you can get my book, the activity book, on blurb.com if you look it up, and I also have a link to it on my Facebook page. So you can join my Facebook page if you want more upcoming news about my prototypes and games coming out.
There you go. So thank you to everyone who watched and commented and hung out with us. Thank you so much to Laura for hanging out with me, especially, kind of last moment. I had one that had to cancel, so we were like, what are we going to do? And you jumped in, so I really appreciate that. I enjoyed hanging out with you. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again sometime.
You have to
also, in real life one time when I'm back out on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Right, I don't know. If you ever come to the Midwest, I don't know. So... No one goes over the mess. There's nothing happening here. It's all right. So, yeah, thanks, everybody. And we will see you on the next episode. I can't believe it's going to be episode 4 already. Yay. All right. Good night, Facebook. We'll talk to you later. Bye.